Hi friends, welcome to Medicine Daily Dose. In today's episode, we will discuss about the diagnostic criteria of diabetes mellitus. First of all, the glucose tolerance can be divided into three different categories. First is the individuals with normal glucose homeostasis. Second are the individuals who have impaired glucose homeostasis. And third are who are known case of diabetes mellitus. So all these categories can be differentiated on the basis of fasting plasma glucose, which is checked after 8 hours of fasting, oral glucose tolerance test, which is done using 75 gram of anhydrous glucose dissolved in the water, and HbA1c. It is also known as glycosylated or glycated hemoglobin, and the concentration can help in differentiating these three categories. So the individuals with normal glucose homeostasis have fasting plasma glucose of less than 100 milligram percent, plasma glucose after an oral glucose challenge of less than 140 milligram percent, and HbA1c value of less than 5.7%. Now glucose homeostasis is said to be impaired when the fasting plasma glucose after 8 hours of fasting is coming out to be 100 to 125. Blood glucose levels post 2 hours after oral glucose challenge are coming out to be 140 to 199, and HbA1c levels are coming out to be 5.7 to 6.4. Now in impaired glucose homeostasis, if the fasting plasma glucose is coming out to be 100 to 125, this is known as impaired fasting glucose. Impaired fasting glucose. And if blood sugar after 2 hours of oral glucose challenge is coming 140 to 199, it is known as impaired glucose tolerance. Impaired glucose tolerance. Some other names which are given to impaired glucose homeostasis are prediabetes, some consider it as increased risk of diabetes, means if the interventions are not taken, then these individuals will progress to frank diabetes mellitus, and it is also known as intermediate hyperglycemia. Hyperglycemia. Now coming on to the diagnosis of diabetes mellitus, it is diagnosed when the fasting plasma glucose is coming more than equal to 126 milligram percent, blood sugar after 2 hours of oral glucose challenge is coming more than 200 milligram percent, and HbA1c is more than equal to 6.5%. Diabetes mellitus can also be diagnosed on the basis of random blood sugar. It is defined as without regard to time since the last meal. That is, it can be checked anytime. But the random blood sugar values of more than 200 milligram percent are diagnostic of diabetes if they are associated with classical symptoms of diabetes. Classical symptoms of diabetes. What are these classical symptoms? These are polyuria, polydipsia, polyphagia, along with weight loss, and sometimes the patient present with non-healing ulcer. Non-healing ulcer. So these are the American Diabetes Association guidelines for diagnosis of diabetes mellitus, and what is normal glucose homeostasis and impaired glucose homeostasis. But if we consider the WHO guidelines, the only difference in the WHO guidelines is, in WHO guidelines, that normal glucose homeostasis is considered at less than 110 milligram percent of fasting blood glucose, and impaired is considered between 110 to 125. Rest is same with the like the American Diabetes Association guidelines. Now when we consider HbA1c or glycosylated hemoglobin, it is the glucose which has bound to globin part of hemoglobin. It reflects the control over 90 days. Since the RBC lifespan is around 120 days, it is giving the control of over 3 months. That is long-term control of diabetes. Good control is said when the HbA1c is less than 7%. On the other hand, something known as fructosamine assay can also be used. In fructosamine assay, detects the fructose which is bound to albumin, and it reflects control over the last 14 days, that is short term control. Now discussing a very important part, that is the screening of diabetes. So when we consider the screening, it can be done by either HbA1c levels or fasting plasma glucose, since the OGTT will not be practically possible in all the individuals for screening. When we ask what is the best screening test, then it is HbA1c. HbA1c, since it is telling the long term blood sugar levels, and the best confirmatory test is OGTT, oral glucose tolerance test, after 2 hours of anhydrous glucose intake. OGTT is still used for gestational diabetes and clinical care in the pregnancy. So why this screening of diabetes is important? Because a large number of individuals who meet the current criteria for diabetes are asymptomatic and are unaware that they have the disorder. So we can diagnose it in the asymptomatic stage. The disorder can be present up to a decade before the diagnosis, and at the time of diagnosis there can be a lot of complications as the presenting feature. So to prevent all these complications, screening is very important. Also, the treatment of type 2 diabetes can alter the natural history. If we have diagnosed it earlier and the proper treatment is given, we can alter the natural history of the disease. If we catch the disorder in the stage of pre-diabetes, that is impaired glucose homeostasis, we can prevent the frank diabetes mellitus. Now, when we consider the screening guidelines, the ADA recommends screening of all individuals who are more than 48 years of age. The screening of diabetes should be done every 3 years. 3 years. And if there are certain comorbidities, like patient is overweight, having BMI of more than 25, or some ethnic relevant definition of overweight is considered, or there are some other risk factor for diabetes, we can lower this threshold and we can screen for every 1 year. Now coming on to the question of this episode, what is the best screening test for diabetes mellitus? HbA1c, fasting plasma glucose, random blood sugar, or OGTT? Comment fast in the comment box, guys. Thank you so much.